Okay, so where did we leave off? We left off with the unzip files. Well, so the file's been unzipped. So we're downloading the zip file, we're unzipping it, and we're deleting the temporary folder that we've moved all the stuff into, right? All right, so the next stage of what we wanted to do is start to search for what's actually in there. So these are the sort of, I built a skeleton of what it is that I'm planning on doing. So this one's just gonna, all it's gonna do is find the text file within the zip file, and this is actually going to search the zip file. So essentially we're gonna feed this information into this one. And the reason I built it out this way is I just wanted to sort of give like some skeleton of like what it is that I'm gonna be looking at. So having said that, so how's this gonna work? So first thing I want to do is, so I just want to create like an empty list because essentially I'm going to stick all of the stuff that I find into that empty list. So next up I'm going to use OS Walk, which OS Walk is essentially what it does. If you want to look up in the Python library, so what OS Walk does is it looks in all of the like spots that you can look in. It says, okay, I want to find all the directories, all the files, and then it sort of like iterates through all of them recursively. So having said that, we're going to do directory name, subdirectory, and file list. So we're going to find all of the directories, all of the subdirectories, all of the files in OS Walk. And I'm going to start it at there. Because essentially I'm going to start it at wherever the location is. All right, so from there, for in. So now I want to see for every one of these if there is file dot ends with. So if the file ends with dot txt, I want to do something with it. So let's print file. Okay, so now I'm going to change this to, okay. Oops, I didn't open up the command prompt. So repos cd. Cool. Now I also need to go into the ven file. Cool. All right, so now I'm in the virtual environment. Now Python. Okay. So I made a mistake because I didn't actually import OS. So let's do OS. Cool. So now it's finding all of the things that it can talk about. Some of these I don't care about. So let's be more specific. Let's go uploads, right? Because uploads, if we go back to our file structure, uploads is this. And it's going to have these two files in it. Cool, right? Save that, and now we should only see, cool, we're seeing hello and record.txt. So we're now finding the two text files. So we want to be more specific with this though. So if we are, let's go with, and I want to do pathlib. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm creating an object that is the exact location of the thing that I'm looking for. And then I'm going to return that. All right, so let's try that again. Only I'm going to print this. All right, so again, I forgot pathlib. This is a recurring theme in my life where I forget to import the object that I need. Okay, so now it's finding two spots, uploads hello.txt and uploads records.txt. So now it has a location for those objects. So at this point, I can then feed this into files to search equals. So now I've declared that this is the thing that I want. And then I will log lines. So very similar to what I just did, I'm going to now do basically a basically I'm opening the file up as f. So now I've read the lines into a variable for line in lines. I want to now do a thing. So print. I need an if statement here to be more specific. If what thing do we have in there? So let's look at record. So I'm going to say something happened. Cool. If something happened is in the line, then print that line. Okay, so now I'm going to feed that in, and I'm going to say for files to search. Actually, sorry, for file in files to search. And then I call search log. Cool. So now what this is going to do, hopefully, is it's going to iterate through all of the different files and it's going to search for something happened. And then if it finds it, it's going to print it out. Let's see, does it do that? Cool. So it's finding something happened. So that's not very useful yet, but let's start cleaning this up a little bit more so that we can get this to be a little bit more useful. Because right now I'm hard coding it pretty hard or pretty solidly. So let's make it a little bit more flexible. Directory to search. Let's be specific about this. So I'm going to make it equal to that. So I'm going to have it searching from like the original location that's called from as its default, and I'm going to have it searching for text files as a default. So let's replace this with ends with. Okay, cool. So, and I want, let's make only one change at once. So it should still find, cool. Still finds all the same stuff. Now we're going to replace this directory to search. Okay, so now when we're calling this, we need to call uploads. Okay, so it does not find everything. So let's go. Okay, because that didn't work because it was assuming that I meant the first one, which is not what I meant. I didn't mean to pass uploads into ends with, I meant to pass it into directory to search. So I just had to specifically name that object. Okay, so now let's make this more useful. And if, be specific as to target. Cool. For line and lines. So what file are we opening? We're opening file. Okay, so now we want, cool. Let's try this again. All right, if statement on, then I want to And then I want to return. All right, and let's just throw a print statement in here so we don't actually see what it's doing. It's missing a positional argument. Actually, I don't think this is going to work yet, but let me show you a thing. Okay, so it finds two empty objects. So if I do if target dot lower in line dot lower. So if I wanted to be agnostic as to like what thing I'm looking at, so it's now going to return a list of lists. So now I'm gonna find everything which is something happened, and I'm not gonna be case sensitive at all. I can do that. In this case, I don't think I want to, but it is an option. So if you don't know whether it's gonna be, case sensitive or not case sensitive, like say you're looking for error, then you would want to cover both error with a capital E and error with a lowercase e. So let's try this again. Save and run again. Cool, still works. So now let's move all this junk into here. And now we'll just call main. Cool. So now it's printing that. I don't really need it to print. I can do it in different ways. I can append this to, I don't know. And so now I've moved that, and so what do I call it? Entry lines. Cool. So I use the same approach 3 times over. So here I'm iterating through all of the objects in the OS walk, and I'm appending anything that matches my criteria of ending with .txt to this thing, and then I get back a list of the locations where the files are that I'm interested in. Here I'm appending all of the objects to the log lines. So essentially I'm getting all of the log lines that I care about. And a third time I can do the same exact move and just do return entry lines. And I can print out here. So let's see, does this all work? Whoops. Cool. So I'm getting a list of lists. First one is empty because it didn't have any, and now I'm looking at all that. So we've essentially accomplished this line. We've searched for the info. We found the info. Now we need to parse it into a usable form because just returning, I found the log line you're interested in doesn't tell us anything about what happened before. So we're not getting the information about what it is that was occurring on the system at the time when the error happened or when the thing that we're interested in happened. But it does give us the ability to like search through large amounts of text. I wouldn't use the same method. Like right now I'm reading everything into memory, which is what this does. It reads everything into memory. So if it was like several thousand lines, I might use something where I'm looking at it in chunks. But right now it doesn't really matter because it's only, I think it's like 20 lines, something like that. So the next one, I'm going to look at how to actually parse it into a usable format. So it'll be, I'll expand what it is that it's looking at so that I can tell what's happening just before and just after.